Hello, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and any other platform that might be seeing this video. I don't usually make videos like this, and this might be the first of many in light of the things that have gone on the last 24 hours. I want to say this. People are going to say that I am politicizing a tragedy. I'm not. And a lot of people who are addressing the issues right now are not. There needs to be a more concerted, decisive, and unified approach to recent events in this country. Now, I want to be very clear. This is not about gun control. It's not. This country has some of fairly strict gun laws already enacted that are circumventable. Let's be honest. They're always going to be. Throughout the recorded history of man, we have killed each other, even in times where guns did not exist, where knives did not exist, where explosives did not exist. It is our human history, and unfortunately, we will continue to do it. It is, as you hear us saying in a lot of science fiction movies, it is in our nature. It's a sad fact. Do we have to accept it? No. But we shouldn't be curating it. And by that, I'm talking about the rhetorical climate in this country. Giving people civil rights, be it marriage, voting, hospital visitation, child care, standard of living. This is not a threat to your fundamental freedoms. However, and let me make this very clear, self-preservation is not racism. Now, it may seem to some people it is because certain groups are being brought out, be them Muslims, immigrants. Let's be honest here, okay? Owning firearms isn't the sole cause of mass shootings in this country. If Americans would get themselves a little more educated, and the information is out there, you know, as much as some groups want to misdirect information, it's out there. 80% of the people that committed mass shootings were on antipsychotic drugs. Most of these people had told their doctors they were having thoughts of suicide, homicide, violence, and they were ignored or given more powerful antipsychotics. Many of them admitted to drinking on their medication, and doctors' solution to that was more pills. There is a fundamental problem with the way we handle mental illness in this country. Now, I understand the flip side of this. Where do we draw the line? Are we going to lock up anybody that questions the government? Anybody that questions a certain religious group? No, absolutely not. But as somebody who has firsthand dealt with mental illness in his own family, I know that I would have rather have had my father be able to walk into any hospital or mental facility in this country and say, I need help. And carte blanche, the help was there. Now there's another flip side to this. We, by grace of whatever power may exist, have not had many terrorist actions in this country. But one of the common threads with them are radical Islamists. Whether they be homegrown, whether they be refugees, whether they be here illegally, that is a common thread. And we need to be, there's a statement that I'm going to make, and I want you to listen to me very clearly. Self-preservation is not racist. Okay? When you, as a citizen of a country, and I'm talking any country on this planet, turn around and say that I think it's right for me to kill you in my own country, you no longer have rights. You no longer have a right to be here. And there's this very liberal, hand-holding idea that somehow you're going to change people who are hell-bent on your destruction. You're not. You're not. Once again, you're not. Okay, this douchebag, because you don't need to call him a man, you're not going to call him a kid. And you need to stop circulating his picture, too. This asshole was a coward. He feared people being intimate. That was his justification for blowing people away? And it's not just him. I'm going to call out every conservative nutjob that's out there right now. The Westboro Baptist Church, the Lieutenant Governor of Texas. What exactly is it that you fear? I've yet to hear a legitimate argument, and keep the religious bullshit out of this too. Keep your bullshit to yourself. Grow up. We live in a society in this country of more freedoms than most people ever get to experience. Freedom of speech, one of the most valued freedoms in this country. In some countries, you'd get shot for opening your mouth. You'd be locked up. Your family would never see you again. And I want to be honest, I never want to see this country head in that direction. But unfortunately, both sides of the fence no longer want to work with each other. Conservatives and liberals, Republicans and Democrats. Black, white, Latino, Muslim. There's no cohesion anymore in this country. There is no common thread. And part of that, actually a large part of that, is this fundamental idea of that I'm not American, I'm Muslim American, Latin American. Let's clear something up here right now. If you were born here, you're American. Which means you accept a certain fundamental way that this country works. You're not going to change that. We embrace freedom. Now, I want to be clear, part of those freedoms, whether you like it or not, is a right to bear firearms. Throughout recorded history, man has killed man. Back before we had guns, back before we had knives, back before we had explosives, nuclear bombs, we've been killing each other. It's not going to change. Banning one gun is not going to change this. And this is the problem. We're fixated. We're fixated and we don't address a larger problem. Self-preservation is not racism. And I hate Donald Trump, but I'll be honest with you people. He's no white knight. He's not some anti-establishment politician. But he has points, valid points. They're not racist. There is a problem in this country. It is divisiveness. It is division. It is a lack of direction. Something that, in my 40 years on this planet, has never been as bad as it is now. I lived through the Reagan administration, the Clinton administration, and 2 Bushes. It was never this bad. And it's not Obama. It's all of us. It's all of us. So, when you go home and you want to weep and pray, stop. Stop. The time for being sad and despondent and wanting to pray your sorrows away. Oh, God. Stop. The time for doing that is done and over. This cycle needs to stop. We as a country need to forge a direction. And not one person is going to do it. Not one politician is going to lead us there. Not one religious figure is going to lead us there. There is no magical Messiah that's just going to fall from the sky and solve this. We as a nation need to get our shit together. Because if we don't, now, people don't understand this. If we don't, everything that our forefathers fought for, everything that my grandparents fought for, will be gone. It will be gone. Because the road that we're headed down is we're treating American citizens like the enemy. Think about that for a second. What happens, what has happened to any country where the government treats their citizens like the enemy? Martial law, police corruption, political corruption. Is that where we want to head? Out of fear? Out of ignorance? Is that where we want to head? Because that's where we're headed. We're in an information age where we're monitored more than we ever have been in the history of human existence. I could find out where anybody is on the planet like that. You can find out their address, their name, their shopping habits. Do you not find that alarming? And I understand the idea for creature comforts. We live in a great information age where on a cell phone you can order food, you can order clothes, you can order a ride somewhere, you can order books, everything on a phone. But you know what this could also do? Track you everywhere in the world. This could be used to order a drone strike against you. And don't be fooled. Just because we're just using it now on the enemy, what's to stop that from turning into you? Our government does not necessarily have our best interests in hand right now. And this is where I will get political. Allowing Muslim refugees into this country is not a great idea. I'm sorry, I'm a humanitarian. I believe in helping people. I really do. But common sense, self-preservation. You don't let the wolves into the henhouse. So, on that note, think about what exactly you want the future to be for you and your family. 4 years from now, do we want to be sending our kids out to war again? 4 years from now, do we want to still allow the police to wantonly murder civilians of any race with impunity? Do we want a government that has unlimited monitoring capabilities, but then does nothing with them? Because remember, this asshole in Florida was on a watch list for almost 2 years. Now, conveniently, nothing was found that raised an alarm. But for you to be of interest to begin with, I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just stupid. Because he never should have been taken off a watch list. And I'm not just talking about based on his face or the color of his skin. You make threats towards Americans, you're going to be monitored. You should be monitored. You should be banned from ever buying a firearm. And this goes for everybody. Fundamental militias, religious fanatics. There's no reason why anybody from the Westboro Baptist Church should own a gun. I'm going to go there. I'm going to say it right now. Fundamentalists, nut jobs, the mentally insane don't belong owning firearms. Anybody who shows a propensity of violence towards other people doesn't belong owning a firearm. Now, on the flip side, and let's be absolutely clear, my rights as a citizen to own a firearm should never be impeded upon, as long as I am a law-abiding, non-violent citizen. So there. As a gay man, I said it. Those are my thoughts. I know I'm not alone, and you know I'm not alone. But the problem is nobody is making their voice heard in a unified way. Now, unfortunately, and fortunately, this election, to some degree, they are. But it's still polarized. There's side A, side B. Maybe we need to start finding that common thread and really get shit done before it's too late. I thankfully will be gone before the real shit hits the fan. Unfortunately, a lot of you watching this won't be. You're in your 20s, your teens. What kind of world do you want to live in? What kind of country do you want to live in? Think about that.